Just when Genoa City feels like it cannot take one more secret, everything breaks open at once. Phyllis is arrested, Matt Clark may not be dead, Nick finally admits the truth about his opioid addiction, and Victor's war to reclaim power starts costing him the people closest to him. The biggest shock begins with Phyllis, because Christine does not just visit her office for another tense conversation. She arrives with a police officer, ready to turn Victor's evidence into a real legal nightmare. Phyllis immediately sees what is happening. She knows this is not just about emails, business, or a stolen company. To her, this is Christine finally getting the opening she has been waiting for. And for longtime Y&R fans, that tension matters. Phyllis and Christine have years of bad blood behind them, so even when Christine insists this is not personal, Phyllis hears something very different. She sees the DA job, the police officer, and the so-called evidence all lining up against her. Christine tells Phyllis she reviewed the evidence. Phyllis pushes back hard, reminding her that they seem to put some of their old hostility behind them when Phyllis spoke at Christine's wedding. But that fragile peace disappears fast. Christine makes it clear she did not come to intimidate Phyllis, she came to arrest her. The officer begins reading Phyllis her rights, and Phyllis is furious. She refuses to be humiliated with handcuffs and a public walk of shame. Christine allows her to avoid the cuffs, but she still has to come with them. That only makes Phyllis angrier, because in her mind this entire case is built on Victor's fake evidence. Phyllis warns Christine that this will backfire. She says Christine is smart enough to know better, and once the emails are proven false, Christine will be the one left embarrassed. But Christine does not back down. She says the evidence points to a crime, and Phyllis has to answer for stealing the company. That is what makes this moment so dangerous. Phyllis may be right about Victor's evidence being fabricated, but Michael later points out the real problem. Defending her is not simple, because proving the evidence is fake cannot accidentally expose the larger truth that Phyllis really did take the company. So Phyllis is trapped in a very Phyllis kind of mess. She may have been set up with fake proof, but she is not exactly innocent either. As Christine orders her taken away, Phyllis vows to fight both Christine and Victor every step of the way. On the way out, Lauren sees what is happening and is stunned. She knows Phyllis is being dragged into something ugly, and she immediately wants to call Michael. But Phyllis is hurt. She tells Lauren not to bother because Michael has already made it clear where he stands. That one line says a lot. Phyllis is not just angry about being arrested, she feels abandoned. Meanwhile, Nick is trying to handle a very different kind of crisis. He meets Nikki for lunch, and the emotional weight between them is obvious right away. Nikki and Victor have been in the same room, looking at each other, but refusing to speak. The silence between them says almost as much as an argument. Nick hugs his mother and immediately brings up her leaving the ranch. Nikki admits that she and Victor had the worst fight they have ever had. Nick tries to reassure her, saying they always find a way back to each other, but Nikki does not believe this is like the other times. This time, she feels something has shifted. Nick offers to speak with Victor, but Nikki tells him it is not his job to fix their marriage. She then asks about Matt Clark, and Nick explains that Sienna claims she killed him, but no one has been able to get the full truth from her. Nikki understands why Nick cannot simply accept that Matt is dead, because Nick once believed he had seen Matt die before, only for Matt to return. That history makes the fear heavier. Matt Clark is not just another enemy. He is the kind of threat who makes people question whether anything is really over. Then Nikki notices something deeper in Nick. She tells him that even before he went to Las Vegas, something about him seemed darker. Nick knows she is right, and that is when the hardest confession begins. He struggles to say it. He hates the idea of disappointing his mother, but he needs her in his corner, so he asks her not to get too upset. Nikki promises she can handle the truth. Nick tells her that after the accident, his pain was unbearable. He was taking his prescription medication too quickly, and when his doctor refused more refills, he turned to street opioids. He admits he was addicted during his time in Vegas. That confession hits Nikki hard. It is not only fear for her son, it is recognition. She knows what addiction can do, and she knows how easily it can begin with pain, denial, and the belief that control is still possible. Nick explains that Adam noticed something was wrong, and Matt used the addiction against him. Nikki is devastated that Nick did not come to her sooner. She blames herself for missing the signs, but Nick gently tells her she simply did not want to believe this could happen to her own son. That is one of the most emotional turns of the episode, because Nick is not asking Nikki to solve it, he is asking her to stand beside him while he fights it. Nikki tells him her own addiction began with the same kind of thinking. She thought she could manage it, but eventually all that mattered was getting more. Nick says he never understood that before. Nikki says she never wanted him to understand it this way. She begs him to be honest from now on. She tells him there may be setbacks, and if that happens, she will not judge him. She does not want him to judge himself either, because hiding the shame only feeds the cycle. Nick promises he will beat this. Nikki says they will beat it together. Then Nick shifts the conversation back to Victor. He asks if Jack is the reason Nikki left. Nikki wants to know if Victor told him that, but Nick explains he knows about Victor kidnapping Jack, and he has been filled in about Patty and the yacht. Nikki says this is not just the same old Victor versus Jack feud. To her, something in Victor has snapped. She believes Victor no longer cares who gets hurt as long as he gets what he wants. Nick tries to explain Victor's side. He says this is about losing the company, and that company is tied to Victor's identity. He built it for Nikki, and Nick wants his mother to find some way to forgive him. Nikki admits she still loves Victor, but love and forgiveness are not the same thing, and right now she does not know if she can forgive him at all. While Nick and Nikki are dealing with family pain, Sharon, Noah, and Sienna are trying to get to the truth about Matt. Sienna returns with Noah after running off from Sharon's questions. She apologizes for falling apart, but Noah does not blame her. His focus is her safety. She thanks him for coming after her and making her feel protected. Noah wishes he had been there when she had to face Matt, but Sienna says she is glad he was not. That response is small, but it says a lot. Sienna is carrying trauma, and part of her does not want Noah tied even deeper to the horror of what happened. Sharon apologizes for pushing too hard, and Noah encourages Sienna to share what she told him. Sharon approaches carefully, explaining that after trauma, memory does not always return in a straight line. Sienna says that after Matt caused the explosion, he told her they were all dead. Sharon immediately recognizes the cruelty in that. Matt enjoys tormenting people. He does not just want to hurt them physically, he wants fear to stay with them. Sienna remembers wanting to stay and hurt him, but survival took over. She jumped from the car and ran. Matt followed her through the desert on foot. When he caught up to her, they fought. She says he was choking her, and she grabbed a large rock. She hit him in the head as hard as she could, then hit him again. Afterward, she checked for a pulse and did not feel one. Noah wants that to be the end of it. He wants to believe Matt is gone for good. But Sharon is not ready to accept that. She asks how much time passed before Sienna checked his pulse. She worries Sienna may have missed a weak heartbeat. Noah wants Sharon to stop, but Sienna says it is all right. Sharon asks where the fight happened, so Victor's people can search for the body. Sienna wants to answer, but her memory is still blurry. She remembers being far from the car, and she vaguely recalls a water park. Noah is ready to call Victor's men and have them search around water parks in the area. But then Sienna finally admits the possibility everyone fears. Maybe Matt is not dead. Maybe she wanted him to be dead so badly that she convinced herself it was true. That admission changes everything. Sharon says they need to know for certain, because if Matt is alive, he is not only coming for Sienna, he is coming for all of them. Noah promises he will not let Matt hurt Sienna or anyone in their family again, but the problem is already bigger than a promise, because Matt is alive. He is sitting alone with an ice pack on his head, drinking coffee and clearly struggling. He searches his pockets and finds a room key for the Genoa City Athletic Club, along with some cash and gum. When the waitress asks if he lost something, he shows her the key card and asks how far away they are from that place. She looks at it and tells him it is about 2,000 miles away. Matt then asks where he is. At first, the waitress jokes like he may be hungover or hiding from someone, but Matt gets sharp and demands an answer. She tells him he is still in Vegas. Matt clearly does not want to be there, and even worse, he does not seem to understand how he got there. He pays for the coffee, finishes it, and decides he has to figure out what happened to him and who he is. That is the chilling twist. Matt Clark is alive, but he may not remember who he is. For now, that memory loss might slow him down, but if his memory returns, the danger around Sharon, Nick, Noah, and Sienna could become even worse. Back in Genoa City, Lauren pushes Michael to do the one thing Victor does not want. She tells him Phyllis has been arrested, and Michael's first response is that this could have been avoided if Phyllis had taken his advice. Lauren is not interested in that. She reminds Michael that Phyllis has a good heart, and she believes he knows what the right thing is. She wants him to represent Phyllis. Michael hesitates because standing against Victor is never a small decision. Lauren then makes it personal. If he will not do it for Phyllis, he should do it for her. That reaches him. Michael goes to Victor while Nick is also there, and Victor assumes he has come to sit and talk, but Michael refuses. He tells Victor directly that he will be representing Phyllis. Victor sees it as betrayal. He warns Michael that if he crosses that line, there is no coming back. Michael answers with his principle, everyone deserves fair representation. Victor explodes and throws him out, telling him never to come back. This moment draws a hard line. Michael has chosen loyalty to justice and to Lauren over loyalty to Victor, and Victor does not forgive easily. After Michael leaves, Nick confronts Victor about the fake evidence. Nick understands Victor wanting the company back, but he does not like seeing his family help arrest the mother of his child based on false emails. Victor shows no regret. He says Phyllis deserves what she is getting. Then Nikki walks in, but not for Victor. She is there to see Victoria. Nick tries again to get his parents to speak, but Victor deliberately picks up his phone and ignores Nikki. Nikki says she has nothing to say to him and walks away. Nick wants reconciliation, but Victor says he has accepted that Nikki does not want it, and Nick should accept it too. Later, Michael and Lauren return to Phyllis's office, with Phyllis after posting bail. Lauren thanks Michael for stepping in, but Phyllis is still angry that he hesitated before coming to her side. Michael tells her they can discuss his failures as a friend later. Right now, they need to focus on her defense. And the defense is complicated. Michael explains that they need to prove the evidence is fabricated without revealing that Phyllis actually stole the company. Even saying it out loud makes him uncomfortable. He wants her to return the company, but Phyllis refuses. Lauren wonders if Christine might drop the case, but Michael does not think it will be that simple. Christine may have social reasons to avoid a public war, but professionally, she takes her job seriously. And if this goes to trial, Michael believes Christine will be out for blood. So Phyllis is out on bail, but she is nowhere near safe. Michael is back in her corner, but Victor now sees him as an enemy. Nikki and Victor still cannot speak. Nick is trying to recover while carrying the fear of Matt Clark. And somewhere in Vegas, Matt is alive, wounded, confused, and trying to discover who he really is. If Matt's memory comes back before anyone finds him, who will become his first target?